When John the Baptist first saw Jesus walking toward him, he didn't call him a miracle worker. He didn't call him the coming king of the Jews. He simply said, "Behold, the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. This is he on behalf of whom I said, after me is coming a man who has proved to be my superior, because he existed before me." John 1:29 and 30. John says he is my superior. But here's the astonishing part. In Japanese, the everyday kanji for superior or greatness, sugureta, means excellent, surpassing, or distinguished. But surprisingly, the same character is also used for the word for gentleness or kindness, yasashisa. Yet the ancient components of this kanji preach something far deeper. The kanji for greatness and gentleness is built from two parts, a person and grief or sorrow. Put simply, the kanji for superior and gentleness is literally composed of the parts illustrating the man of grief, which means the character itself is declaring the truly superior person is the man of grief. And when you see greatness, sugureta, and gentleness, yasashisa, both grounded in this same picture, it starts to look like more than just language. It looks like a portrait of the Messiah and a hint of someone who understood who he was. Astonishingly, about 700 years earlier, that is exactly what Isaiah said the Messiah would be. Welcome back to Gospel Kanji, Season 3. I'm your host, Kent Cisco. In this season, we're exploring some of the most extraordinary kanji in the Japanese language. Characters that don't just carry definitions, but appear to carry meaning of a gospel understanding so early, so close to the first century, that the only logical explanation is this: someone in the first century encountered the Messiah himself and embedded what they witnessed into the writing system of the kanji. In episode 1, we looked at Isaiah's prophecy of the Messiah's calling and how he would be formed like a mouth with a sharp sword in his mother's womb, called from the womb, and how that calling appears in the kanji for call. Today, in episode 2, we step into another breathtaking connection. Isaiah tells us that the Messiah will be high and lifted up and greatly exalted, and yet he will be a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief, suffering more than any man. And Isaiah says, kings, yes, kings will see him and finally understand, which means that when the Magi showed up in Bethlehem, they weren't just spectators. Remember Isaiah 60, verse 3, "Nations will come to your light and kings to the brightness of your rising." The Magi are called kings in Christian tradition. Why? We're given a clue in Proverbs 25:2. It's the glory of God to conceal a matter, but the glory of kings is to search out a matter. The Magi came seeking the Christ child, searching out a matter. They were participants in the very prophecy Isaiah wrote about 700 years earlier. And their reaction, what they saw, what they understood, may still be preserved in the kanji for greatness and gentleness. So, today we're going to explore Isaiah's prophecy of the greatest one who suffers. John the Baptist's recognition that Jesus is the superior and also the Lamb of God. And the Magi's role as kings who see and understand. And then how the Japanese word for superior and gentleness quietly confesses the identity of the Messiah. The greatest one is the man of grief. Let's dive in. Before we even reach Isaiah 53, the famous passage describing the suffering servant, we have to back up to the final verses of Isaiah 52. Isaiah 52:13 is where we learn a bit more about the Messiah. "Behold, my servant will prosper. He will be high and lifted up and greatly exalted." Isaiah 52:13. This is the one all Israel longed for, the superior one, the long-awaited king. But then Isaiah moves immediately, without pausing, to verse 14. Just as many were astonished at you, my people, so his appearance was marred more than any man, and his form more than the sons of men. Isaiah 52:14. Wait, what? The highest one will be the most disfigured one? The Messiah, the most exalted being in all creation, will suffer more deeply than any man? And then verse 15 delivers the prophecy that explodes across continents. So he will sprinkle many nations. Kings will shut their mouths on account of him. For what they had not been told, they will see, and what they had not heard, they will understand. Isaiah 52:15. Let me summarize that. Kings from the nations are going to see the Messiah with their own eyes, and they will understand who he really is. They won't be theologians or rabbis. They won't have the scriptures memorized. They won't know anything yet. And then they will understand everything. So when Matthew writes, Magi from the east arrived in Jerusalem, saying, where is he who has been born King of the Jews? In Matthew 2, verses 1 through 2, Matthew is pointing us straight back to Isaiah 52, verse 15. Magi in the office of kings, searching out a matter, who haven't been told, who haven't heard yet, will see and understand. And that, Isaiah says, is how God will begin revealing the greatness of the man of sorrows. Fast forward from Isaiah about 7 centuries to the birth of Christ, and then another 3 decades to the beginning of Jesus' ministry. A rugged prophet stands in the Judean wilderness, baptizing crowds in the Jordan River. When he sees Jesus approaching, he says something astonishing. Behold, the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. This is he on behalf of whom I said, after me is coming a man who is proved to be my superior because he existed before me. John chapter 1, verses 29 and 30. It's the same message Isaiah conveyed. The higher one, the superior one Israel has been waiting for, the greatest person has arrived. But here's the twist that no one in Israel expected. The greatest one is also the man of grief. John declares his superiority. Isaiah declares his suffering, and the Kanji quietly declares that these two ideas are not only compatible, they belong together. Now let's look closely at the Kanji for greatness and gentleness itself. This Kanji, read sugureta, means superior or excellent or outstanding, and also read yasashsa, meaning gentleness and kindness. Both meanings center on the same 2 key parts. On the left, the person, and on the right, grief, sorrow, anxiety, burden, and pain. Combine them, and you get the Kanji for the idea of what is superior, excellent, gentle, and kind. So the Kanji at the heart of the words for superior and gentle is literally declaring the superior one is the man of grief. The gentle one is the man who carries sorrow. Now listen to Isaiah 53. Like a lamb that is led to slaughter, and like a sheep that is silent before its shearers, so he did not open his mouth. Isaiah 53:7. He was despised and forsaken of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. Isaiah 53, verse 3. And surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Isaiah 53, verse 4. But Isaiah doesn't just say he will suffer. Isaiah says he will also be the greatest. He will be high and lifted up and greatly exalted. Isaiah 52, verse 13. I will allot him a portion with the great. Isaiah 53, verse 12. So we have a profile, the greatest one, the gentle one, the suffering one, the man of grief, remarkably, are all found together in a single character. That shouldn't happen by coincidence. It looks like testimony more than anything. It looks like memory. It looks like someone who witnessed the man of sorrows and wanted future generations to remember who the truly superior one is. Let's return again to Isaiah 52, verse 15. So he will sprinkle many nations. Kings will shut their mouths on account of him. For what they had not been told, they will see. And what they had not heard, they will understand. This is one of the most overlooked prophecies about the Gentile nations regarding the Messiah. Isaiah says, these kings will not be Jews. They will not be trained in the Torah. They will not have had the stories. They will not have had the prophecies, and yet they will see him and they will understand him. That sounds exactly like the Magi seeing the Christ child, bowing before him, offering gifts, and returning home with a message. These were kings or royal envoys from distant lands, lands beyond Babylon, since Matthew emphasizes from the east, not from the kingdom of the east. And Isaiah predicted that these kings, upon seeing the Messiah, would understand what the prophets meant, even though no one had told them. Which raises the question, if they understood, where did they record what they understood? This is where the Kanji lines up in breathtaking fashion. If the Magi returned to the Far East carrying the message, the memory, the meaning, the identity of the child they saw in Bethlehem, then the earliest forms of written Kanji characters could naturally reflect what they learned. If that's true, then the Kanji for greatness and gentleness is not merely a dictionary entry. It's a silent shout across time. We saw the Christ child. We understood. The greatest one is the man of grief, which would later be confirmed by a second journey around Pentecost. Let's return one last time to see the three witnesses. Isaiah says, he will be high and lifted up and greatly exalted. He will be a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. Kings will shut their mouths. What they had not been told, they will see. And then 2, John the Baptist says, behold, the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. This is he on behalf of whom I said, after me is coming a man who has proved to be my superior, because he existed before me. And then 3, the Kanji for greatness and gentleness reminds us the superior person is the man of sorrow. The truly gentle one is the man who bears our grief. 3 ancient voices, Isaiah, John the Baptist, and the Kanji, at 3 different times, in 3 different languages, all saying the same thing. The Messiah's greatness and gentleness is his willingness to suffer for us. This is why the cross was not a failure. It was the fulfillment of the Messiah taking our grief. It was the revelation of true greatness and true gentleness. And this, remarkably, is what the Magi may have carried home and what the Japanese language still carries today. The greatest one that Israel longed for is the man of sorrow who came to bear our griefs. This is Gospel Kanji. See you next time.